Hi all, Vernon Doswell here again. Just here to update you on my wild idea. Last week I came to you to tell you that I was going to compete in the U.S. Senior Amateur Qualifier. That's coming up at the end of the month, and I'm here to give you a recap on how the first week went. Pretty much, it's been amazing. I want to thank you all, first of all, for the great support that you all had for me, the words of encouragement, and the wonderful things that's been said. But even more importantly, I've heard about a lot of you pursuing your old wild ideas. One couple decided that they're going to compete in a triathlon. One young man told me that it was time for him to go back and start to create some music. He's always wanted to do that. One woman said, hey, I'd like to learn a language. And I've always said I wanted to do that, but I just haven't gotten the gumption to go up and get it done. So it's really exciting to see people go after old things. Even more importantly, one of my best friends from high school used to be a really, really good player, but had some problems health-wise, and he's decided that he's going to get back into golf again. And because of what I'm doing, he's a much better player than me. So if I can do it my raggedy swing, he can do it too. So good luck to him as well. So with that being said, the support I've got here is just amazing. I've talked to a lot of people. When I told them I'm going to do this, they've been out there to help me. And I'm going to protect the names because I don't want them to be embarrassed with me talking about them, but I've got some good friends who've allowed me to do some things. One guy invited me out to Interlaken, which is a nice historic old golf course and a nice club. It's very private, and because he was the champion there and a champion in another course at the same time, he's invited me out, and I got to play with three guys. So the guy invited me out. In the middle, we're going to call him Oscar. Oscar played at Pepperdine on a national championship golf team with Jason Gore. I mean, that's pretty big time. The guy on this side, I'm going to call him Young V. He played in high school, and then in college he played at Drake when Zach Johnson was there. So he and Zach are pretty good friends. As a matter of fact, when Zach won the Masters, he got to be in the locker room, which was pretty cool. The other guy, who I'm going to call Easy E over here, Easy E was a great player in the Northeast, and he won a tournament that allowed him to play in the Masters, and he got to play in a practice round with Tiger Woods. So, I mean, these are real big-time players. So I went out and played with them to try and figure out what they do and how they approach the game and get some advice, and they all said the same thing. You're decent, but the closer you get to the green, the worse you are. You don't play like the really good players, and that's one thing we got to work on. So I've got that figured out. That's what this week's all about. The last week is about the assessment. This week is about going forward and figuring out what I need to do. And this week is going to be all about the short game. But before I get into all that, this is not just about me pursuing something. I've learned a lot. So when I look at this hole, so the ninth hole at Interlaken, it's a beautiful hole, right? I hit my tee shot and I saw this little plaque, Bobby Jones, U.S. Open 1930. There's some history around that. So they're talked about the lily pad shot, and I asked these guys what it was about, because I just go look it up. It was no big deal to them, but because I hit it where Bobby Jones hit it, it could have been kind of good. Well, what happened is that Bobby Jones hit a shot that should have gone in the water. Instead, it hit a lily pad and skipped up to here. And then he got up and down for birdie, and he was on pace to win. And if he had made a bad mistake there, his competitors could have caught him and changed the momentum. So that was pretty cool. So when I saw that, I said, hey, maybe I can do that. I should have been able to do that. But instead of hitting it even here, I hit it kind of over here. And then I hit it way over here, and then I missed the putt. But anyway, I made a par. But yeah, a little history. While I was looking at that, some things popped up because African Americans weren't really involved in golf a lot. The first guy that I really knew was this guy. This is Calvin Peete. Calvin played in the late 70s and 80s with Nicholas and Palmer and all those guys. And he was kind of a small guy, as you can see, but he hit the ball so straight all the time. When they looked at driving accuracy, which was kind of important, he was like always number one in the chart, and he was got enough straight hits and straight putts to make sure that he was in competition all the time, and actually won about 12 times. But in terms of the U.S. Open, I found a story on this guy right here. This is John Shippen Jr. And he was in the 1896 U.S. Open. It was at Shinnecock Hills, and because his mother was a Shinnecock Indian, he and one of his buddies, who was also a Shinnecock Indian, They were really good. So the local members paid their entry fee and got them in. Well, by the time it was time to play, a lot of the members, a lot of people playing in the field found out that he was really half black, and they didn't want him around at all. But the people stood up, the commissioner stood up and said, hey, this is the way it's going to be. And it's just really good to see change happen, because when you're fighting change, somebody's got to step up and do the right thing, even in the face of doing all the wrong things. So it's good to hear that some of these things going on, and as tough as our system is, and as tough as society gets from time to time, when people stand up and do the right thing, good things happen. So I ask you to keep all that stuff up. Anyway, cool to hear about him. He was doing great. He was coming in, he was near the top of the charts. I think on like the 16th hole he had an 11, ended up tied for 5th. But a black guy tied for 5th at the 1896 U.S. Open. Pretty cool. Anyway, this week is going to be a lot of fun. Again, thank you for all the support. Thank you for the great things you've said and done to help me stay inspired. Please keep sending me your wild ideas. It's kind of cool to hear what everyone else is doing. And I'll tell you how this week goes with my short game. I'm getting closer. Thanks.